starting a little bit later than I intended. Hopefully everything sounds okay. Hi. Just so you guys know, just as I start this, Aaron, via the cat, decides to get on the table to. Oh God! Please do not step on the laptop. She's cute though. Okay, all the info looks fine, so I don't really need that. This sounds like. Actually, no, I don't. Okay. Okay. So if I remember right, I already read this dialogue, or this line. So, let's go. As far as I know, everything looks like it's going through okay, so, yeah. And swish, with a natural gesture, she lifted her hair up.
クールビューティーで通ってるの。
What's up?
ビューティーよ。ちょっと言い間違えただけ。
Oh, I've heard that word before.
もう一回言うから、もう一回やらせて。
She said that and then straightened her back and made a composed smile again. Okay, that's enough. I get it already, alright?
もう意地悪、揚げ足取り、人でらしい。
Kotori used just about every insult there is, then turned her wheelchair around. Then she hurriedly raced back down the hallway and back into her room. Along the way, Hat, who had been thrown off, chased after her and entered the room through a small door, maybe a special door for ducks, built into the bottom of the main door. I looked on in disbelief. I don't mean to say this, but the dainty and delicate image that she had in the daytime had completely crumbled away. A delicate bud was beginning to sprout, and we shared a fleeting love. But cool aloo, right? When I remembered lifting her hair and being so full of confidence, I feel like I could burst out laughing. She's so funny. From the beginning, everything's been so messed up. From tomorrow, it looks like things will start getting interesting. I really felt that prediction would come true. Please, please no. My first job as a dorm mother, that is, to make breakfast for the boarders. Hello. No!
葵くん料理上手だね。おかわり。
Sure, a big bowl, right?
わかってるね。
I'm pretty confident in my cooking. Until recently, I was living like my father, who was ordered to transfer to the country. And every day, I helped with the housework. I was in charge of preparing the meals, and it's not like I hated cooking or anything. That's one of the reasons why I accepted the job as dorm mother. So the others don't eat breakfast, huh? Since just now, no one has come into the dining hall. Sometimes there would be someone walking through the hallway in front, but they seem to be sneaking around.
ん
Kanako looked towards the hallway just as the oldest boarder, Yuka, was peeking in more swiftly, dashing off.
もうみんなオブだからね。男の子に免疫がないのよ。
But Keifu is a co-ed school, right?
いくら学校で同じでも寝起きの緩み切ったすっぴんが見られちゃうわけじゃないからね。
See, it seems that a guy being the dorm mother of a girls' dormitory will have its problems after all. There is a reason why I accepted the job as dorm mother at Flying Fish Manor. Not long ago, the janitor collapsed. It sounds like she's pretty old, and as well as straining her back, she caught a summer cold, which became aggravated. The owner soon began looking for a replacement, but it was hard to find one. Then she sought help from the real estate company where my mother works. This is one of the properties that my mother manages and is an old acquaintance of the owner from decades ago. She nominated me for this job just as I was planning to come back here. On the documents, my mother is the one responsible for this place, but she got me to carry out the practical duties, in other words, the work of the dorm mother. Then, that became the condition for me coming back to this town. As always, she's very crafty, but I wasn't really against the idea, so I accepted. If I'd known it was a girls' dormitory, of course, I would have refused. This place is old, a little far from the school, but the rent is cheap. Apart from the food and admin expenses, it costs next to nothing. My day was alright. How was yours? That's why it would be a big problem for me if I couldn't stay here, and in the worst case scenario, the boarders won't be able to go to school. So for now, it seems that everyone has accepted a guy as the dorm mother.
ごちそうさん。美味しかった。
Kanako stacked up the dishes on the counter and licked her lips in satisfaction.
ま、みんなそのうち慣れるって。じゃ、行ってきまーす。
She had eaten it all, not even a single grain of rice was left. feel deeply relieved. I'm happy that things are going well. Ah, jeez, I'd better get ready for school. That's okay. In the entrance of the dormitory, there was Kotori. She was dressed in her uniform and looked like she was about to go to school. Morning, Kotori.
おはよう。
Are you going to school? Shall we go together?
なんでそうなるの？
I? Well...
私の足のことを心配してるなら余計なお世話よ。ふんと。
She put it bluntly as she quickly went out the front door. I don't have any friends at school, so I was just asking. By the way, is the sound okay and there's no, like, echo at all? I know this is a little bit late to ask that, but... Okay. Looked like we'd had a strange misunderstanding. Wearing my new uniform, I make my way to school. I'm a dorm mother, but also a student of Keifu Academy. I mean, this is my real occupation. Today is the first day at my new school. Not really the shy type, but I guess I am kind of nervous. I would say that the school I was going to before was a sports-focused all-boys school. Keifu Academy, the school I am going to now, is an engineering school and a co-ed, and the school traditions are quite different too. As I walk the streets that lead to school, there are more and more groups of people wearing the same uniform. This is the same area in which I lived 5 years ago. There should be a few people that I know, but most of the people who I recognize went on to regular schools. I wonder if the ones who chose to go to Keifu Academy remember me. Even if I only know one person, it would make a big difference. There'll be more weird misunderstandings with Miss O too. Oh yeah, which schools is Aga and the other schools? They're my childhood friends who I always played with when I was a kid. There's Aga, Mabo, Kotaru, and Anjan. Out of that group, Agaha and Mabo are the same age as me, but we haven't met in 5 years and haven't really stayed in touch. We just about managed to exchange New Year cards, but that reminds me, in the corner of last year's New Year card, I think there was a small message about which school they were planning to go to. What did it say? A lot of things happen, or maybe I'm just lazy, but I haven't told anyone apart from Anshan that I'm coming back. To be honest, I'm not even sure how I should be if I met them. With the ones like Agaha, she'd probably smash my face in. She'd say, "Why didn't you contact me?" or something. She looked and acted like a real tomboy. When I remember the past, it made me smile. It makes me smile, but...
お。
At the point where Toe Street leading to the school meet, there was a girl wearing a Keifu uniform standing there looking towards her. The other girls that she was walking to school with asked, "What's up?" and seemed puzzled as they spoke to her. However, it seems that girl can't hear them and she's staring over at me. Just Just faintly, her eyes seemed full of surprise. She's pretty cute. Without realizing, I'd stopped walking and was staring at the girl. Until a few days ago, I was going to an all-boys school. The sight of a girl on the way to school in her uniform, she was pretty cute too, causing me to get palpitations, is perfectly reasonable.
もしかして葵？
Yes, it is. Suddenly having someone call my name in such a carefree manner made me feel a little nervous. Who is it?
やっぱり葵だ！嘘、本当に？
There, she said my name again. And she has such a happy expression on her face. Do I know any girls this cute? No way. I've seen this face before. When she smiles like this and her eyes sparkle like a little kid's. Is that you, Agaha?
もしかしなくてもアゲハよ。忘れちゃったの？私の顔。
She asked as she briskly moved closer, bringing her face right up to mine. It's definitely Agaha. She's changed a lot, but if I just look at her face, there's no doubt that it's her. Really that Agaha?
しつこいな。他にどのアゲハがいるってのよ。正真正銘、本物の姫木アゲハです。
What is it? What is it? Said the other girls as they gathered round in a circle. Agaha turned to face them and introduced me.
この子、水瀬葵くん。転校生よ。サッチンは覚えてるよね。
Sachi replied, "No way, Abby." As she warmly raised her voice in surprise. When we were in the 4th grade of elementary school, we were in the same class once.
私と葵は幼馴染なの。昔ここに住んでたんだけど、転校してっちゃったのよね。
The girls seemed impressed by Agaha's explanation, and they looked at me with eyes full of expectation. Nice to meet you, Minase. In front of all these girls in their uniforms, I greeted them with a stern look on my face as I tried to hide my embarrassment. Agaha laughed as she moved on with relish. I never thought I would find myself doing introductions in the street on the way to school like this, so I was totally unprepared. I'll say it again, let me do it again. I could hear Miss Alu's words in the back of my mind.
伸びたわね。最初誰かわかんなかったわ。
As she spoke, Agaha was moving her hand around my head to show the difference in height between myself and her. Our bodies were making contact, but she either didn't notice or didn't really mind. I flinched slightly, but the fact that she was so unreserved actually made me feel more.
昔は私といい勝負だったのに。男の子はずるいな。
Speaking of which, you've changed too.
そう？
As she said, "You think so?" She looked at herself. Yeah, you always looked like a boy, so I was surprised to see that you became a girl. Boy. You're gonna get smacked. Those were my honest thoughts, but I said them in a way that sounded weird. I thought she might find it slightly charming, but
ぬふふん。どうだ、いい女になっただろ。
Agaha laughed happily and did a little turn on the spot. The force of her spin made her skirt float around gently. Yeah, it's like you're not really Agaha. While dazed and not really thinking, those thoughts kind of slipped.
イエーイ、やったね。
Agaha was pleased and did high fives with her friends. seen her in high spirits like that was just like old times. Agaha, my best friend during my childhood, hadn't changed in the 5 years that had passed. Her appearance was surprising me. The lessons on my first day at my new school flew by in a blink of an eye. Between the language and social studies lessons taught in regular schools were those from a specialist curriculum. I was still in the second grade, so there aren't that many, but it looks like when you go into the third and fourth grades, the number of these specialist lessons increases. By the way, this is a 5-year school. That's why when walking the hallways, this kind of thing happens. Hey, she's pretty. Coming from an all-boys school when it's with its sad customs, I couldn't help my eyes from following the girls as I walked past them.
ほうほう。早速女子のチェックですか？
No, that's not it. I just thought that they'd really grown up, that's all.
4年か5年の先輩じゃないかな。
At our age, a gap of 3 or 4 years is pretty big. The students in the upper grades look very mature.
それにね、うちってこの手の専門学校にしては女子の比率が多いんだよ。
Why is that? Without thinking, I really took an interest in that, and Agaha looked at me as if she wanted to call me a pervert.
校舎の建て替えと同時期に女子生徒の受け入れを強化したんだって。
I had heard about that before I transferred. They increased the number of courses for girls and asked famous designers to make the designs for the new building. It has been said, thanks to that, the ratio of boys and girls is about 50-50, which is one of the selling points of the school. Bearing this in mind, I felt uneasy about choosing the school as the one I transferred to. But I'd like people to think that it can't be helped because I'm from an all-boys school. By the way, it's now lunchtime. Agaha is in the middle of giving me a guided tour of the school building. Yeah, but this really is an amazing school. The school itself is pretty old. Due to it being a special kind of school, of course, it's famous in the local area. I've known about it too since I was a little kid. The school building has been rebuilt over the last few years, with renovations divided into several stages, the last of which was completed just 1 year ago. It's said that is because of famous designers. The design uses many curved lines, so the appearance is far removed from what had generally associated with the word school. It felt like I had entered some kind of sci-fi setting.
設備も最高だよ。冷暖房完備、完全バリアフリーでどんな人も安心して学校生活が送れます。
Disabled access? That's right, disabled. Kotori should be somewhere in the school.
でもさ、葵、ほんと変わったよね。
Agaha, as she walked by my side, was happily murmuring as she looked at my face.
顔とか昔はもっと可愛らしかったのに、なんかゴツゴツしちゃってさ。
Yeah, same to you.
ひどっ！私ゴツゴツなんてしてないもん。
She knew that when we met on the way to school earlier, I thought she's pretty cute. She'd never let it go, so I'd better keep quiet.
あんちゃんから聞いてなかったら気づかなかったわよ。 そう、葵が帰ってくるってね。
By the way, I'm in the same class as Agha. She knew that I might be coming as a transfer student, which is why she wasn't that surprised by our chance meeting this morning.
あんたね、帰ってくるなら連絡くらいよこしなさいよね。
I think they actually meant contacted, not contracted. Sorry. The reason why we called him Anchan isn't because he's like an older brother type. Aniki. Because Aniki equals an older brother in Japanese. He was our childhood friend, but he was much older than us, so we nicknamed him Anchan. He's not related by blood, but he's just like a real big brother. Agaha glared at me and said cheese, as I tried to laugh it off.
昔の私ならアックスボンバーかましてるところよ。
She would really have hit me. As we talked, we went back to the classroom. The classrooms weren't exactly normal either. I felt a little uneasy taking lessons here, but maybe I'll get used to it sometime soon. By the way, there's a girl in a wheelchair in this school, right? Miss Alu. No, I mean she's called Kotori Habane. I asked Agaha as we returned to our seats. I didn't ask what grade she was in, but even if it's not the same, I thought Agaha would at least be aware of it.
ああ、うん。
Agaha reacted like she was being evasive. It wasn't just Agaha, but the other people sitting nearby who heard our conversation also seemed kind of awkward.
ハバネさんならうちのクラスだよ。今日は来てないみたいだけど。
After Agaha said that, someone added, "You mean today either, don't you?" The way she said that seemed quite harsh. That can't be, I mean. I thought about explaining that she had left the dormitory this morning in her uniform, but I held my tongue. The atmosphere was kind of strange.
ここんとこずっと休んでるんだ。体調が良くないみたいでさ。
Not feeling well. Yesterday she had went out to Windmill Hill, and then today she was chasing that duck around the halls of the dormitory. And this morning she left wearing her uniform. Oh, okay. How's that? Is that better? Is that any better? Okay, cool. I'm glad, because I can't turn up my mic anymore. Is she skipping school? However, more worrying than what Kotori is up to is the reaction of the others in the class when they heard us talking about her. Even Agaha looked like she had something she wanted to say but couldn't. But I don't really know what the situation is, so I can't really say anything.
おい、山本、英語の辞書を貸してくんね。
As the awkwardness started to fade, an optimistic voice called out. From the entrance of the classroom, a carefree-looking guy poked his head and started speaking to a boy in our class.
お、ちょうどいいところに。おーい、マーボー
だよ、アゲハ。なんか用か？
The guy known as Mabo came into the classroom.
お前と仲良くしてっと、エリちゃんのご機嫌が悪くなんだよ。あれってやっぱ、ジェラシーってやつだよな。
いいからこっち来い。
お、誰これ？転校生？アゲハは見た目結構可愛いけど、中身男だから気をつけろ。
Agaha and I both looked blankly at him for a moment.
なんだよ。
Long time no see, Mabo.
は？
Why is this transfer student being so buddy-buddy with me? His face seemed to say. It's me. Have you forgotten me?
俺だよって。え？お前、葵？
I looked at Agaha and
にや。
she wanted to surprise him, so it seems like she intentionally didn't tell him. Hi! This slightly superficial guy is Masatsuku Tasaki, or Mabo, as we call him. He's our childhood friend. Sorry if I butchered that name. I'm not. Again, I know Japanese names, but not all of them come to me right away.
なんで葵がここにいるんだよ。てか、転校生って？え？
Okay, that was weird.
あんた驚きすぎ。
そりゃ驚くって。
You seem well, Mabo. You've grown pretty big. Masasugu used to be really small, but now he was about the same size as me. It's not quite like the change in Agaha, but in 5 years that have passed since we were kids, it looks like he's grown to about twice the size.
お前こそ。
We grabbed each other by we grabbed each other by the right hand. This was instead of a small, quiet greeting.
本当に葵なのかよ。
Yeah, I'm back, Mabo.
おかえり、葵。
This time, bam, he gave me a full-on hug. Hey, hey!
うんうん。熱い友情ってやつだね。
We were the only ones who thought so, whereas all of the girls around us were totally freaked out.
会いたかったよ。
What?
じゃねえよ、この裏切り者。
Mabo suddenly backed off and thrust his finger at the end of my nose. What is this all of a sudden?
いきなり出て行ったと思ったら、ろくに連絡もよこさねえで。俺やアゲハがどんな思いでいたか、てめえ知ってるのか？
いやいや、勝手に私を巻き添えにするな。
そのくせよくものこのこと。
Sorry, but it's not my fault that I had to move away. If you want to complain, say it to my dad. I thought about writing a letter, but I felt kind of embarrassed. For the most part, the fact that there was no contact was both of our faults.
この裏切り者め、俺は絶対許さないかんな。お前なんか嫌いだ、バカバカ。
With saliva flying out of his mouth as he emphasized his words, Mabo forgot all about borrowing the English dictionary and he stormed out of the
子
classroom.
供かい。
It It wasn't just us, but everyone in the classroom was shocked.
こうなると思って教えてなかったんだけどね。
Oh my god.
知ってたらあいつ最初から全開であんな感じだっただろうから。
I think that was the correct decision. I want to say thank you. Even so, he did seem upset about it.
あいつ最近彼女ができて調子づいてんのよ。小さい頃は「あおい、あげは待ってよ」とか言って私らの後にくっついてきてたのにね。大丈夫、すぐ元通りになるって。だってあいつ葵大好きっ子だもん。
Don't say it like that, it sounds weird.
そう、かわいいじゃない。
While we carried on talking, the bell to mark the end of the lunchtime sounded. Everyone put away their lunchboxes and got ready for the next lesson. Agaha went back to her seat. She stopped halfway, then walked back. What's up? Agaha seemed concerned about those around us and lowered her voice.
なんでハバネさんのこと知ってるのかなって。
Well, the truth is, my mom asked me to be the dorm mother of a student dormitory. I lowered my voice so that those around us couldn't hear.
寮の管理人？
Kotori is boarding there.
そうなんだ。
My mom asked me to take good care of Kotori. Even if she hadn't, I'd be worried about her anyways. As she listened to my explanation, Agaha thought it over. Her expression darkened somehow.
このまま来なくなるんじゃないかってみんな心配してる。あんまり学校が楽しくないみたいなんだ。
It looked as if she was saying, I can't believe she doesn't enjoy school. You seem to enjoy it.
私？もちろんだよ。だって楽しいじゃない、学校。
I guess so. It was still my first day at a new school, but I was enjoying it quite a lot too.
そっか。そうなんだ。
Whether or not she was convinced by my story, Agaha mumbled something or other as she returned to her seat. After school, I was alone and was wandering around the school building. This was so that I could take a look at some of the club activities. Film studies, studies, a theater club, there was even an RC club. This is, after all, a specialist school. Also, if I mess up words by accident, I'm not used to talking this much, so I am sorry. Looking at the playing field from the window in the heat outside, I saw sports clubs practicing. Compared to my school, it's pretty calm. The sports clubs at the school I used to go to were taken so seriously. The sight of training before a match was one of ruling harshness. Wait, what do I mean, my school? I'm a student of this school now. I'll go take a look. I went down next to the playing field to watch the sports clubs practicing. Before long, I started to feel a little down, so I left. The doctor said that if it's light exercise, it shouldn't be a problem. I tried stamping down strongly with my right foot, and there isn't really any discomfort. There, the baseball club, which was returning from the off-campus running course, entered through the school
あ、
gates.
水瀬、お前水瀬だろ？
The one calling me was an old acquaintance. It's you, Taguchi. It's been a long time.
お前帰ってきたんだってな。もう部活は決めたのか？
No, not yet. I'm going around taking a look now.
野球部入れよ。お前ならすぐレギュラーなれるぞ。
When I was a kid, I often played baseball in the park. Some of the guys in the group that were my teammates or on the other team were in the baseball team. I'll think about it. I casually responded, and the baseball team members replied, "Come on, join us, seriously," as they returned to the playing field. If I could do physical activities, baseball, in fact, anything would be okay. As I grumbled to myself, I felt that I didn't want to go back to the playing field, so I entered the path leading to the back of the school. I spent a while walking around the back of the school. It was called the rear garden, but it looked like it hadn't been taken care of at all, and was just an empty space with weeds growing everywhere. In that empty space, there was a garage. Hello, I'm coming in. Looks like there's no one. It looks like no one's here, but I thought I should say something to let them know, just in case. Is this place used for club activities too? Or is it used for lessons? I don't know what they're used for, but there are many tools and parts crammed onto the shelves that cover the walls. Then, in the center is a huge object covered with a sheet. The feelings that had washed over me like a wave when I watched the sports club strangely subside from being here. The tools in the dimly lit garage must have reminded me of the times when I would tinker with my bicycle. What is this used for? I could conceal the sound of my footsteps as I sneaked inside the garage. It's pretty spacious. There's a tea set here too. There was no doubt about it, someone was using this place. I get a strange sense of activity. I guess it must be one of the clubs. Whoa! There's someone here. I was so surprised it felt like my heart was going to jump out. The person over there seemed not to have noticed me at all. I'm not sure if you could call it a drawing board, but as she stared at the plans that were placed there, she was kind of groaning. I'm sorry for letting myself in here. I'll be going now. It's no good. She didn't hear me. Her eyes were so serious that as she stared at the plans, and she looked like she was really concentrating. I didn't know what to do, so I just looked at her from the side. Now that I look closely, she's really beautiful. Hey, why am I staring at her? I hurriedly looked away. However, it looks as if she still hasn't noticed me, so I take another glimpse. She looks quite mature. Is she in the 5th grade? She's so pretty. Kotori is pretty too, but this person is different and has a mysterious charm. She suddenly stood up. I'm sorry. Without thinking, I avert my eyes and apologize, but she's looking straight past me and grabs a big, thick book from the shelf.
やっぱりそうか。
She flicked through the pages and looked like she had found something before going straight back to her seat. In good spirits, she began swiftly drawing the plans. The pen made a nice swoosh swoosh sound as it ran across the page. The feeling of maturity that she had until just now suddenly changed. When she smiles, all of a sudden she looks more like a kid. As her eyes looked straight at the plans, they looked as though they had a crystal clear purity to them. Just like an innocent child, her eyes looked as though she believed that the world is full of wonderful sparkling things.
これでよしと。
Her hand stopped moving. I got the timing right. Excuse me.
Hmm?
She finally noticed me. I think I'm actually gonna stop there. It's a little bit, earlier than I planned, but, figured this might be a good stopping point, rather than in the middle of a conversation. So, maybe when I get more used to reading a lot, I'll try to do longer videos of this, but for right now, I'm still getting used to this. Anyways, thank you for joining, and I'll play this again another time.